Hey guys, welcome back, and hello if you are new. I hope you guys enjoyed my sort of like new format that I've been sort of trying out, which is, you know, a little bit more sort of long form, but it's kind of unedited. So this review is I don't know, it's I guess something that I thought maybe would never even happen. So if you're not familiar with the band, the Black Dahlia murder had the unimaginable happen to them. Trevor Stannard passed away in 2022 in May, and obviously the band were understandably at a crossroads here. Do they close the door on what they've achieved, or do they continue a legacy in Trevor's name? And I have to say, I think the way that they did it is the only way that the Black Dahlia murder could have continued. And the result is Servitude. It actually took me a while to kind of get around to listening to this record, because, you know, Trevor was, you know, like a friend of mine basically, and yeah, it's I didn't actually expect myself to kind of get this sort of emotional actually talking about it. Yeah, you know, it is what it is. We miss him, of course. The metal community absolutely misses him too. But in the end, the way that the band carried on, and I think this is the only way they could have ever done it, is that Brian traded in guitar for a microphone, and Ryan Knight came back into the band, who hadn't been in the Black Dahlia murder since Abysmal in 2015. Well, that was the last like recorded release. So obviously the spotlight is very much on Brian in terms of vocals, and I have to say he has knocked it out of the park. It's like they just didn't even miss a beat, you know, like he, I think, honors Trevor really nicely, but also has his own kind of sound. And it didn't sort of sound like jarring or anything like that. It just felt natural, I think is the biggest sort of takeaway for me personally. And he also wrote all of the lyrics, which I think is really important to mention because, you know, Trevor's lyrics are pretty incredible, man. Like, you know, the legacy that he has. And Brian really holds his own. You know, the themes on this record, you know, they range from a meteorite hitting Earth and then everyone sort of becoming cannibals to what I think is like Frankenstein, maybe. And then the track Servitude is about someone like being tortured, but not giving up the name of the dark one. And then Evening Ephemeral is about like people being burned alive in like a locked sort of room, church kind of thing, I think. But yeah, kind of business as usual, which I was really stoked about. And it also, I think, highlighted the fact that there wasn't, you know, I thought, I don't know why, but I thought there might be a song about like Trevor or whatever, but it was kind of refreshing that it was just business as usual, you know, like it's just Black Dahlia being Black Dahlia, like worshipping the dark one, so to speak. And, you know, Aftermath especially, I think is such a great idea for a track. But I think, you know, what I really love about Servitude is there's kind of like hints of all sorts of Black Dahlia in here. There's moments that reminded me of Nocturnal on Panic Hysteric. Then you've got Evening Ephemeral, which I think kind of scratched that little sort of Nightbringers style. There's sort of Transcosmic Blueprint, which reminded me also of Nightbringers. And there's also like Everblack sort of vibes on here for sure. But to be honest, it's kind of, if you're a fan of the Black Dahlia murder, this is sort of like a calling card for all of their best moments. I think, you know, there are sort of some tracks which kind of reminded me of that verminous sort of aspect, like on Mammoth Hand, for example. And I think they are kind of pushing the sound forward slightly, but I don't, you know, that wasn't really the mission statement with this album. This album, I think, even in it being created, is a fucking huge achievement in any sort of case. In terms of the record itself, the length is, I think it's like 33 minutes, and there's not one single song that is over the 4-minute mark. So they've really been able to master what is the sort of idea of the Black Dahlia murder and really like distill that, which I absolutely love. I also really love the fact that this record is bookended by this sort of harpsichord kind of acoustic guitar sounding stuff, which is on Evening Ephemeral, and then at the end of Utopia Black. It just kind of makes it sort of more cyclical, and you can listen to it, I think, a bit easier. You can kind of just sort of get lost in it, really. But yeah, overall, I think, you know, Aftermath is definitely like on the faster sort of side of things for sure. Cursed Creator has like this cool sort of bounce to it, which I really liked. You know, again, sort of like alluding to that Deflorate nocturnal kind of era. But it's the combo of Ryan Knight and Brandon Ellis that are just so great, man. Like, Ryan was my favorite, you know, lead guitarist for a long time. And Brandon Ellis absolutely, you know, has created, he's like forged a path on his own, right? But the two of them together is just something else. And I think it kind of goes to show, you know, about their guitar playing, is that there's always kind of like a song which might maybe seem kind of fairly simple on the surface is tweaked ever so slightly with like these different leads or these different moments and like changing of the dynamics, which I think is really, really cool. And there's of course like solos which are basically flying thick and fast the entire time, but there's so much character that you can like distinguish between, you know, whose is Ryan's and whose is Brandon's and things like that. And I think, you know, Transcosmic, what's it called? Transcosmic Blueprint almost sounds a little bit like Hangar 18, where there's that sort of trade-off section, which I thought was really cool. And it kind of has like a Dream Theater sort of vibe, especially where the rhythm section is, you know, but for that bridge, not for the whole song. But it's just really great to see that kind of musicianship and how they both sort of interact with each other, I think. Particularly on like Mammoth's Hand, I really, really love the solo in there. It reminded me a little bit of like Sunless Empire, that kind of vibe, and Panic Hysteric as well. I thought that was really, really cool. I also just wanted to mention about the artwork for Servitude. It was done by Paolo Girardi, and I think he really kind of captures that sort of Renaissance-y kind of vibe that is on this record. I also like the kind of colour choices he's had, and the fact that it is this sort of like, you know, everyone's kind of going slowly to their doom kind of vibe. It encapsulates, I think, a lot of the themes on the record. Servitude proves that this is a new chapter in the Black Dahlia murder's legacy, and one that, of course, they'll never forget the past, but they are kind of forging defiantly ahead into the ever black, to quote the great Trevor Stannard. It's not kind of pushing boundaries or anything like that, but it is establishing themselves in this new chapter, and that for me is the biggest achievement that this band could ever have done. For that reason, clearly, you know, just because this record has even been created, it's a 9 out of 10 automatically. Absolutely great record. 100% it's going to be in a lot of people's album of the year lists for sure. That's my thoughts on Servitude. Let me know what you think in the comments underneath me. You know, I'm a huge Black Dahlia Murder fan, and it's just great to have them back, to be honest. So yeah, other than that, I will see you guys very, very soon for more album reviews. If you did enjoy this, it'd be great if you hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Take care, my friends.